Now is your last chance. We cannot send first responders into harm's way because you decided not to leave. You must leave now.
Right now on Denver 7 News at 5 o'clock, the first images of damage as Hurricane Ian races toward Florida. People are hurt after reported tornadoes there. We have team coverage ahead of landfall today.
A scary scene at a Littleton Safeway. Fortunately, it turned out okay. What we're learning about the pipe bomb left outside the grocery store.
You know, they say don't meet your heroes. Well, she's the type when you meet her, you're like, well, you deserve to be a hero because you're the real thing.
Coloradans are still holding out hope for their fellow mountaineer and mom will be able to come back home safely after disappearing on one of the tallest mountains in the world. The impact she's had on women in our state.
Are you sneezing more these days? It may not be cause for concern. There are ways, though, you can reduce your symptoms from those fall allergies. Yeah, the turning leaves, of course, and the pollen for certain plants especially up right now. So thanks for joining us this morning on another nice fall day here. I'm Nicole Brady.
And I'm Brian Sanders. Yeah, we're going to see that seasonal change again this weekend, Lisa, but today just hot and sunny.
Yeah. It is, yeah. Temperatures are going to warm fast too today. Yesterday we had some mild conditions and more cloud cover in the afternoon. Today, though, starting off with sunshine, mid to upper 50s. In fact, right now here in town, you're going to find a few neighborhoods still in the 40s, but look across the southern edge of the metro area, right around the Chatfield Reservoir and in through Highlands Ranch. We're at 62 right now. Castle Rock, you're walking out the door to temps near 60. So plenty of sunshine early on, mid to upper 50s for your kids at the bus stop this morning. It's t-shirt and shorts weather today. We're going to be at about 82 degrees by the time they get home, hitting those highs in the low to mid 80s for us here in town. More 60s and more 70s in the mountains today. A much better chance of seeing some wet weather here in the high country over the next couple of days, and we'll take a closer look at that if you're planning to head west coming up.
And if you're, wanting to know what's going on in Florida right now, it's very wet, obviously. This is along I-75 between Fort Myers and Punta Gorda, and you can see that the truckers, it's because I-75 is partially closed down there, and so they are parked and just going to wait it out. And they're hopefully going to be the best for them. Take a look for the drive here in town. We do have still some transit issues with the E, H, and R lines, all staying on this 30-minute frequency until Friday. I watched to see we're still doing some of the repairs along I-25 right there around Yale and Hamden, and they also have that bus shuttle in place for the R line, and that was from that derailment that happened a couple of days ago. We still, as you take a look from the camera here on I-70 by Pena Boulevard, a couple of extra minutes here for us. Going to the airport, it looks just fine, but going away from the airport, still a couple extra minutes for that overnight construction that's wrapping up right now. Still wrapping up construction out there to the west side, south side. If you hear of a crash around University, all cleared, moved out of the way.
Well, forecasters say Hurricane Ian has now become an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm as it approaches Florida's west coast. It's packing winds, sustained winds now of 155 miles an hour, which is right on the edge of becoming a Category 5. And Ian is expected to make landfall near Fort Myers this afternoon.
Oh, we saw the footprint of it reaching all the way across Florida into the Atlantic now. We have team coverage this morning of what's expected to be a devastating storm. Denver 7's Jessica Crawford is gathering up-to-the-minute information from where there is already reported damage from overnight.
Let's start, though, with Ivan Rodriguez, who is on the ground in Punta Gorda this morning.
Hurricane Ian is now a Category 4 storm with landfall expected not too far away from where we are here in Punta Gorda. And I can tell you it's been raining here for about the last 12 hours, and the rain's really increased as well as that wind. Last night we heard from Punta Gorda's police department saying they're suspending all emergency services, and the message to the community here is clear. They'll need to shelter in place until the storm passes.
If you are in an evacuation zone, particularly in those southwest Florida counties, your time to evacuate is coming to an end.
An urgent warning from Florida's governor imploring residents to get to higher ground as Hurricane Ian barrels toward the state.
Hey, you're in a mandatory evacuation.
More than 2.5 million people are under evacuation orders along the southwest coast, but officials are telling all Florida residents to brace for impact.
There's also potential for flash flooding and river flooding with 10 to 20 inches across central and northeast Florida.
Ian caused a nationwide blackout after rolling through Cuba Tuesday, and thousands of utility workers are standing by across Florida to help deal with potential power outages. Rains from the outer bands of the hurricane are already whipping southern Florida, and at least 2 possible tornadoes caused damage Tuesday night. Schools, supermarkets, and theme parks across the state have announced closures as the window for people to board up and head out is coming to a close.
Now is your last chance. We cannot send first responders into harm's way because you decided not to leave. You must leave now.
Hurricane Ian is showing no signs of backing down, and Florida officials are activating search and rescue teams. The main concern here is the amount of rainfall that's expected, as well as storm surge, which could reach up to 12 feet. In Punta Gorda, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
All right, yeah, already there are reports of damaging winds from the outer bands of Ian hitting Florida as well.
Yeah, 2 people were hospitalized in Delray Beach. That's on the Atlantic coast, the opposite side from where we just saw Ivan. Want to bring in Jessica Crawford this morning because it's about to get tough for emergency responders to get to people who need help.
That's right. So part of the reason for that is that all eyes are on a possible tornado in Florida as Hurricane Ian approaches the state. Officials at the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport confirmed that a tornado hit a section of the North Perry Airport, damaging several aircraft there. But that's not all the destruction that has taken place, as tornado warnings were issued in Broward County. So here is a look at some video from Twitter. So it shows the possible tornado at Kings Point Delray Beach, and it's due to the outer bands of Hurricane Ian. From lightning to flooded streets to possible tornadoes, Hurricane Ian is making an impact before it officially even hits Florida. And when it comes to the possible tornado, locals say that it caused a lot of damage, hitting a home and making a sound as loud as a train last night around 9:15.
We did Sandy in New York, but nothing like this.
All of a sudden I felt something and then heard like a train coming right through the house, in this direction. And I started to scream. Because I have a bad leg. It was very, very difficult for me to run towards him.
It sounded like a train, subway. I work for the subway system. I know what a train sounds like. That was a train coming right through.
And here is video of a home that's flooded in Key West. We have a satellite image as well here. That's Hurricane Ian approaching Florida. And you can also see that lightning within Hurricane Ian as it makes its way over the Gulf of Mexico. Now, water is causing flooding to houses, as you can see there, as the storm surge just continues to creep up in Key West. Homes and cars just being destroyed across that area. And so far, we do know that 2 people have been sent to a hospital, 35 have evacuated. Some buildings are heavily damaged, and about 20 cars are either partly or completely destroyed.
Yeah. We haven't even seen the worst of it yet. All right, thank you, Jessica. Coloradans, meanwhile, are standing by to help in Florida. Kim Males is one of 8 volunteers headed into harm's way to set up for the Red Cross.
There's a lot of adrenaline, like, hey, we're here to do a job. Let's get this thing set up. Then we'll hunker down and survive, and then we'll be ready to emerge immediately after the disaster.
If you would like to help, you can make a donation at redcross.org.
Well, even though we in Colorado are far from the hurricane zone, Colorado State University has a team that tracks tropical weather every year. Their latest report last month predicted 18 named storms this year. There have been 9 so far. CSU's team also forecasted 8 of those to become hurricanes. So far, there have been 4. Ian is the 4th. A hurricane season officially is from June 1st to November 30th. Later this morning, we'll be talking with one of CSU's senior forecasters. That's coming up at 6:30 a.m. Well, so often when we hear about a suspicious device, it turns out to be nothing. That was not the case this time when a pipe bomb was discovered behind a Littleton Safeway. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta is live there at that Safeway off Mineral. Everyone was able to get away safely. What happened there, Veronica?
They were. And you know, this all happened just after noon on a Tuesday. So as you can imagine, there were a lot of people not only inside of that Safeway, but also all of the businesses that surround this really popular store. It was a scary moment for them, especially when they started seeing those law enforcement officers and that bomb squad show up here. Now this morning, you can see everything's very different than it was yesterday afternoon, a lot more quiet. But take a moment and listen to what this local business owner told us when she saw all of that police activity here.
In my mind, I kept going back and forth thinking, okay, so all of these people are here, the bomb squad, everybody's here, but yet I'm still allowed to stand right here next to this tape. So it was kind of one of those things going back and forth in my brain, like what is actually going on?
So the pipe bomb was discovered by someone who was just on site doing their job. They were doing an inspection. The good news is the Littleton Police Department, alongside the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office bomb squad, they were able to disable that pipe bomb. Though a law enforcement source did tell ABC News this pipe bomb was, quote, a lot more sophisticated than we typically see. And because the bomb squad was able to disable that pipe bomb, we know Littleton's crime lab ended up taking it. They're going to be using it in their active investigation. But now comes the tough part, finding out who made this and then who dropped it off here. It's exactly why Littleton Police is asking for anyone out there who has any tips to go ahead and email them. You can do that at policetips@littletongov.org. We're in Littleton this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, number 7.
All right. Thank you, Veronica. Lisa.
Well, getting out the door this morning, you're going to find 50s. Will be in the mid to upper 70s by noon, low to mid 80s for highs today. Expect to see a lot of sunshine. We are in for another dry day, pretty dry across the state. More showers on our Super 7 day. I'll show you when that's going to hit coming up.
And right now, the overall drive here in town is really all about overnight construction. It's still lingering in some places. I-25, though, looks pretty good. Did have some road work on the I-25 drive heading south through the Denver Tech Center. It looks like that's moved and out of the way, and we have a good drive for us all the way down to Castle Rock.
What would Chipotle be without the chips and dip? Well, apparently the popular side dish is the most time-consuming part of the job for workers. Wait until you see the sophisticated way the burrito chain wants to start churning out the chips.
And as Florida anxiously awaits the arrival of Hurricane Ian, we are already finding out efforts are being made to restore power when it inevitably goes out. As we take a live look here from Fort Myers Beach, the latest on Hurricane Ian still ahead.